Hi Ali, hope you're well. I just getting myself organised there. I was being a bit disorganised. I had all the time in the world and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, where did all that time go? Just have days like that sometimes. So today I am featuring the Ornate Garden Suite, which is featured in the catalogue on pages 64, 65, 66 and 67. So it's a pretty big suite with some lovely papers. And earlier on I cased one of the cards from the catalogue using Old Olive and Mint Macaron, and the Mint Macaron paper has this lovely gold pattern on it, so I used a bit of the gold foil paper and cut out some of the edges. So I've already done that because I was playing earlier, and because the suite is quite detailed, I kind of have done a lot of pre-preparation. With each kind of set you get all sorts of different dies, so what I didn't want to do on a live was be running off doing my die cutting kind of constantly. So they're the dies that I have used, and this one has the flower and then it has an edge die, so the card I just showed you uses one of those edge dies. And I haven't used any of the stamps from there, I've just used the words from Ornate Thanks. But yeah, it comes as 2 packs, and I'm also featuring these lovely new square vellum dolly. Oops, oh, I knew that was going to happen. There's always something, isn't there? These lovely square vellum doilies, because they arrived the other day. I temporarily lost them and then found them again. And thought, oh, I should use those. So we kind of have an exercise of putting a few bits and pieces together to show you some of the sweet bits, and then I thought I would do a bit of step stamping using the Stamparatus, casing another card from the catalogue. So the first one I have, so this is using one of the square doilies, and what you will notice when they come out of the packet, there are a few of the little bits that haven't quite popped out, but they very easily pop out, so just use a pokey tool, for want of a technical term, just to poke out any bits that are missing. So Old Olive and Terracotta Tile are 2 of the colours. So the colours featured on the papers are Bumblebee, Old Olive, Early Espresso, Terracotta Tile and Mint Macaron. So literally I have cut a small section off the card, then it really just allows you, actually what I should have done is we should have another piece of paper under there as well, shouldn't we really? So I'm going to, see, it's beautiful paper, but I'm going to ink all over that side. It seems such a shame when it's such a beautiful paper, but yeah, makes your decision on your papers. And so I'm going to put that centrally on the card. Oh, and that was almost perfect glue placement. Again, just using a bit of glue because I wanted that little bit of wriggle room with that one. Then I've done, so the greetings come with some large letter, thank you, so grateful and thanks, and then it has some small phrases. So this I've done, seriously, so grateful, and that is going to go across there, but I thought it would look quite nice with the ribbons across, and then I thought, oh, let's throw a doily on as well. Let's just throw it all there. So I'm going to stick that to the backing. So I've used the Terracotta Tile as a card base, but because we're featuring the Terracotta Tile and the Old Olive ribbon, I have used an old olive background, and literally that is just very like millimeters narrower than the card. So it's just how I place those ribbons. So I'm just going to have one anchor point for the ribbons and the doily, and then use the placement of the greeting to kind of pretty much hold things down. And you could, of course, well, maybe we should try that. Should we try sponging that doily? Might mean we need to put it to one side to let it dry. Just wondering, because I mean, you know, it's very pretty, but I think we could show it off a little bit more. So what I'm thinking, doesn't necessarily show up an awful lot more, but as we're combining old olive, look what we could do as well. Oh, that would look lovely on a card as well, wouldn't it? Sponging through. Oh, I love it when I randomly discover things, and I hadn't thought to do that previously. It's quite funny. So just sponging, you'll get to a point where you will get a messy finger. I'm just going to rub that over more to get a slightly smoother. Oh, I love what I'm creating on my Oh, there's definitely going to be a card that's going to feature that. I think we should be okay with it. Just highlights it a little bit more. Might just put it at a slightly jaunty angle so that when I put the greeting down, let's do that. Got slightly messy fingers. So how are you today, Ali? Are you finishing your day's work, or have you finished? How long should we do them? Should we do them as long as we possibly can? What I'm going to do is put a glue dot. Yes, I would have had one handy. I'm thinking a glue dot over the centre. I thought that's kind of go over there. Oh, there are the smaller glue dots, of course. I've got smaller ones that aren't Stampin' Up glue dots, so. Oh, is it that kind of, well, month end that you've got to deal with? Well, I appreciate that you are watching me as well in the background. I've just popped a little glue dot on there. Might need slightly more. Now this is going to possibly overhang slightly, and it may be that I want to secure a little bit more of it, but let's just go with that little dot to start with so that we get everything secure, and then that just literally is going to go across the middle of that. But I quite like those little bits poking out at a slightly jaunty angle. Got to remember that this is going to go over the edge of the card, so I am only going to pop that tape in the middle of it. It's literally just millimeters away. And then what, oh, see those ribbons, I didn't know if they would get too floppy, but I quite like those. What I do need to do is just trim that. That's not going to work in an envelope if we don't trim that edge off. Yeah, I've got to get my work head back on next week. Trying to do something to prep today to send to my boss, and then I'm like, I've gone rusty. I've had a complete brain fart as to something that I need to do. So I've had to email him and just go, oh, can you just remind me? What am I supposed to do? So this definitely needs some embellishment. And I'm thinking, now the embellishments that come with the kit are these lovely, wondering whether to use those or whether just Diamante. I'm just thinking a bit of Diamante on this particular one, just in a neutral shade, because we're using the wrong colour. So I just think just do a plain oh, the colours in Everything Rosy are just beautiful, aren't they? Oh, you'll have fun playing with that. Is that your weekend chill out plan? It's that. Is it? I don't know whether they class it as a copper or a bronze in the kit, but it yes. It needs to sit in the middle of a flower. So doing things in odd numbers, going with 5. Just popping that on so just a little bit of glitz on there. But actually I think got bits of vellum doily all over the place. I'm thinking possibly that would look nice, but which one of the papers that could be our... I don't want to go too far, because I think, no, because although we've gone old olive, actually I might just put an old olive panel there. I feel that needs something, but I'm not 100% sure what yet. I just think it'd be nice to have something on the inside. Maybe we'll have a think on that one. Possibly just a little bit of old olive. Actually, I've got some old olive somewhere. If you just had that along the edge. Yeah, I don't think it needs to be another DSP. Actually, I think I might just do that quickly. Love these random things that come upon me. So this measures 3.5. I cut off 3.5 centimetres. So I will make this piece 4 centimetres just to make sure that we cover the whole of the piece. And then that will just, yes. I was going to be brave and then do that with tape, but I think because I need to get that positioning so it's right on the edge, I'm not going to, oh, hang on, this is actually longer than I need it to be, isn't it? Let's just make sure we don't over glue. Can't have gluey fingerprints. Well, we can, but let's try and not get them all over our card. I did something this morning and I was quite pleased with what I'd done, and then all of a sudden I'm like, no! It's an inky fingerprint right across the middle of my card. So much as people like beautiful handmade cards, I'm fairly sure they're not really looking to get something with an inky fingerprint right in the middle. I'm just going to cut that slightly shorter because and slightly more of an angle now. That one is slightly short. The old olive is kind of matching to the edge of the card and the terracotta tile wasn't, and I wanted that even. That's quite cute actually. I like that. Yes, I need to send my mum and dad. My mum and dad, bless them. David does like he used to like to get his daily paper from Waitrose, with a little Waitrose shop. And obviously with lockdown, haven't been going every day, So bless him, my dad's become our little paper boy. So my dad gets the paper delivered one day, and then he trots down the road, and they only live round the corner. Trots down the road and he delivers it to us so that David's got his paper on a day old bit of paper, a day old paper, but he does like to have a little read of it. So I need to send a little thank you card to my parents for trotting down. We know when the weather's bad, because they don't come down quite so early. So yeah, I got a bit of rainbow glimmer paper in on this one, because the I thought the graduation from the yellow to the orange kind of reflects the bumblebee in there. But what I thought, I've cut one of the detailed dies in vellum. I'd say if you do use vellum, you do probably need to quite a good strong cut, so I did have to go through it several times. That would be my only advice, but I just felt it needed a little something. And one of my colleagues the other day was fussy cutting, and it's not my favourite thing in the whole world, but I thought I could cut out some of these flowers here and pop them on the top. So here goes for Marie fussy cutting. So actually I might just lock that bit off to make it easier for myself. I think it's something that she absolutely adores and does loads of, but I just find it a little bit, but I just thought this paper kind of lends itself to it, so I thought I'd give it a little go. I'm going to include that cream one in the first instance, so I'll see how it looks, because potentially I can always just cut it off. But yeah, Yuta did some beautiful cards, just accenting, so I thought, oh, ideal paper to give it a go. I'm not so bad if it's quite a big thing, but when it's a little thing, it's just a little bit like... Although it doesn't have to be absolutely 100% accurate, so... Whoops. I'm going to go around that one, definitely not including that yellow one, and I'm definitely not including that pink. I just thought I would focus on the kind of bumblebee colour, as I had that little bit of rainbow glimmer paper. Had to get it in somewhere. I saw a beautiful card from someone featuring the nothing's better than, and they'd done the word cocktail across the rainbow. So I was like, oh, that is definitely going to happen. Definitely casing that one. So casing is a term in case it's completely alien. So it's, well, it's either copy and share everything, or copy and I use copy and share everything, but there are other versions, and of course the minute I start talking about it I forget what the other versions are. But essentially it's using somebody else's card as a guideline. So I post a fair few bits of inspiration on Pinterest, and if you're in Pinterest or Instagram, it doesn't work so well for Facebook, I've found, but on Pinterest and Instagram, and certainly if you go onto Pinterest, just watch it, because it's a right rabbit hole. You go on for one thing and then 2 hours later you emerge from a fog of finding things. But yeah, put any Stampin' Up! Stamp title. I'm going to include that one as well for now. So in this instance, if you put in Ornate Thanks, it would bring up all the cards that people have posted with Ornate Thanks. So it just really is a fantastic place to get lots of inspiration for card making. So yeah, I have a fair few posts on there and use it a lot, but as I say, anything that you're looking at, you'll be there and then you'll be getting down a flipping rabbit hole before you know it. Right, okay, I think I don't need that one. So if you are fussy cutting, always cut more than you think you might want, because you can cut off. Obviously, once you've cut it off, it's very difficult to glue it back on again. Got a hair appointment next Thursday. That's quite exciting. I need to get a haircut. I never think I've got particularly thick hair until it gets long, and then it turns into some sort of strange. I might take that one off as well. So yes, it needs thinning out, tidying up. So there we go. So I just thought it just added, although I mean the vellum's beautiful, but I just thought it was a little bit, just needed a little bit of something extra. So I'm half wondering is, can I follow? That would be half in. Look, I can. That's worked out over the pattern of. Oh, that's quite interesting. The bit I cut out happens to be in the middle of that card, and I'm thinking that that might be quite a nice little way of getting that to sort of sit. Initially I was thinking it could go off on a tangent, but that would be... Oh, seriously, Ali, it can be terrible, can't it? It's like... Babs, you can't say that. Mine still hasn't arrived. I can't believe it. It's like the post is coming in a wave across the country and it hasn't got to me yet. Either that or my little postman's going, I know Marie really wants this and she can have it. Not yet. I've already placed my order, but I just want to see it in the paper version. So yeah, so yeah, I was just talking about getting lost on Pinterest, that you can put in any Stampin' Up stamp name, and you know all the posts will come up with it. So but you go on and then it suggests something else to you, and then you go off on a different angle, and then and Ali finds the same thing. So don't worry, we all do it. We all get lost in a little search or lost in a catalogue. I know the annoying thing is David's actually off tomorrow, and it's bound to arrive tomorrow, so when I won't get it. So he's off tomorrow. Oh no, he's working. No, we're fine. He's off tomorrow. Then he's working Saturday, Sunday. So if I don't get to look at it tomorrow, I'll have a little mooch over a nice coffee on Saturday. Oh well, David. Yeah, David does YouTube. I tend to just watch Artful Stamping and her One Sheet Wonders on YouTube. So I tend to be a little bit more disciplined about how I go onto YouTube. But yeah, cannot say the same for Pinterest. I tend not to search a lot on Instagram, although I did do the other day for a card for something random and was quite impressed with what came up. So it did make me think, oh, here's something else I can lose time doing. But yeah, these things are all designed to keep us online for as long as they possibly can. So then that one, I think I might just pop on some dimensionals. Oh, that one, I think that worked out quite well, if I do say so myself. So yeah, at the start of that Babsy, I was fussy cutting, and I was going to place them elsewhere on the vellum, because the vellum was just a bit boring without. But then I realised that the piece I'd cut out was almost exactly smack bang in the middle of the card, and that was not planned. So I've kind of lifted it onto the top of the vellum. See, vellum's something that I go through phases. I guess we all do with. Oh, and I've got a little bit of rainbow glimmer paper underneath my thanks. So I'm just going to pop that into that corner. So there we go. Using one of the die cuts. And again, that isn't stuck down there. I've just put some of the Stamp and Seal across the middle, and then where I knew that bit of fussy cutting was going to happen, was going to be placed even. It's going to happen. So yeah, that's quite cute. So that's the one I've just done. That's the one I did earlier, Babsy, and this is the one I cased from the catalogue. I made that earlier on today. So there we go, and then the other one, what? Well, Jeanette, you are not alone. You have come into most excellent company. I was slightly late because I had loads and loads of time, and then suddenly was like, oh my god, how did it get to that time? Then we were talking about Pinterest and Instagram and how we lose ourselves for hours, and then Babsy got all engrossed in the new catalogue. So panic not, Jeanette, you are in a good place. Now I'm still getting the hang of this. It definitely doesn't like too much pressure, but every so often. What excellent company we are in this afternoon, ladies. We've all lost ourselves in crafting or looking at crafting things. Well, poor old Daddy's been working, but she does lose herself in Pinterest and Instagram. Babsy's got the catalogue, but she's lost herself in the catalogue. Yeah, I like those colours on this week's challenge. So, yes, take a look, everybody. Linda's put a beautiful card on. Cased. I can't remember who that was cased from, Linda. It was inspired by somebody, wasn't it? But that was lovely. It's nice to have a little challenge. It kind of, when you're yeah, and I said earlier when I started, because of all the die cuts within the Ornate garden suite, I had done a lot of the die cutting prior to coming on, because I don't find it makes for a very exciting Facebook Live if I'm just die cutting all the time. And I like your little tic-tac-toe. What is... Oh, I'm doing something wrong with this today. Pressing too hard. Definitely doesn't like the hard press, does this? It likes a nice gentle. Now, I'm just going to revert to a snail for a minute because that's not very exciting. Me learning to use the new stamp and seal. Yeah, so on Linda's page, she's got a tic-tac-toe challenge, which I was challenged in a slightly blonde way with, but now I know. Now I know. Oh yes, oink, yes. Oh yeah, that, yeah. It's an inspiration, isn't it? Now, I'm just wondering, having I have this interesting pattern on my paper because I sponged, and I'm just thinking that doily. So these are the new vellum square doilies, but I'm thinking I want to put it on because I'm having a throw everything at it time. I love this early espresso suede ribbon as well. What I'm thinking is that might need... Let's try a bit of bumblebee first. Just think it needs a little bit of... So these are really easily... Or knowing what it does, I should have done that on a proper piece of paper, shouldn't I? That would have been really sensible. Whoops. So these are really easily coloured, just with a quick sponge, but they're going to make a brilliant mask as well. Well, that's what I thought, Linda. I'll throw everything at it and put it and enter it. just go for it. Just thinking that, yeah, it just lifts it a little bit. Although I might just add a little bit of early espresso around the edge. Don't know whether that's going to work or not, but just sponge. Probably not so much with my... Just... Oh, I don't know what colour's coming out of what now. Smooth that off a little bit, just have the very edges. You need those doilies. I mean, they're lovely. It's a pack of, how many's in the pack? Pack of 24. They're lovely. I'd ordered them and got all excited, and then I lost them. Luckily they are now found. I'm going to put a little bit of ribbon. I'm not good at folding it over. I definitely need to cut it. But a couple of bits of ribbon across. So maybe a little glue dot to secure them into place. I might get trimmed, but I'll do that afterwards. Just gonna, oops, lady, secure those a little. Just popping that at an angle. Then I'm going to pop that on the top. So again, I'm going to secure that with a little, make sure I have my thingy. Do I want it exactly on the, put it at a slightly jaunty angle, I think. Then my little inky fingers, let me just, before I stick a big inky mark right across the middle of my sentiment, there we go. So I'm going to glue that, so that I'm not going to pick that one up again until I've can't work out what I'm doing wrong with that, so and then that's going to go across, and then we can add some, so I think that needs to be on dimensionals again. Oh my lord, it's alive, it's alive. Oh,
hello.
I'm live. He's home early.
Sorry?
I said you're home early.
Not really.
Oh why, what time is it? I've lost track of time as well now.
Well, it's 5:45.
Oh.
Are you offering me a cup of tea or shall I offer you one? Would you like a cup of tea?
I'm on Facebook Live.
Oh, hello, darling.
He's saying hello to everybody now.
Hello there. Your husband has returned.
My husband has returned
What
in
does-
order to...
What's the 1950s housewife got us for dinner, darling?
Food.
I won't swear about my brother then.
Not just yet. So yes, he read some article the other day about in lockdown women have been bemoaning going back to a more 1950s existence where we're cooking and cleaning and not going out to work, so he quite likes it. So, because I'm going to put some of these little... Oh yes, he's got to put the kettle on, don't worry, yeah. Cup of tea, cup of coffee, what do you fancy, Jeanette? I'll put one of those down there. So yeah, I tend to, with my little embellishments on the end of my pick tool, almost use it to position where I'm going to tea. No sugar, I hope. So now I've gone with 4, I need a 5th. Is it gonna, I put one on the brown just there. There we go, that's a bit of a throw everything at it. So we have literally a doily, the ribbon, the embellishments, the layers, then this one, managed to get a bit of the rainbow paper in, did a bit of fussy cutting, and then that one. So they're all quite well, the Ornate garden set kind of, that's what it's all about really, isn't it? It's all sweet enough, lovely. Definitely right, I'm going to put that one in my to be washed sponge pile, and that one probably, because otherwise I'll stick my finger in. So very quickly because I've lost track of all time once again, as you do. What I really liked in the catalogue and was going to give a go is this stepped stamping. So I've picked a background paper and a bumblebee card, which it said to put over there. There's definitely going to be something occurring with using those as a mask. So in essence, with a Stamparatus, we can set a greeting up, and then it has these steps down the side that allow us to step stamp. So put one. What I will need to do is quickly use a wipe to wipe that off. My chamois are so mucky I can't take them out of the pack, because otherwise I'll just get covered. So essentially I'm taking the colours of the sweet, that's my bumblebee, that's my early espresso. Why do I feel like I've got colour missing? I have, because old olive is there. Oh, I didn't want two greens next to each other, do I? That's going to happen now. No, it's not actually. I'm going to do something that means they don't, because I didn't have my old olive, so I didn't want the two green shades next to each other. That's just my thing, but I want to use all 5 colours because 5 fit on. But actually it's going to be, yeah, no, we'll be fine. Sorry, just having a little conversation with myself now. So with the Stamparatus, the paper, we can position it each time in the same position each time, and literally you're just using the steps down the side, and then when we get to this bit, I've made an assumption this is how it's going to work. I haven't actually practiced this, by the way. This is true live, unscripted. Had a plan, not 100% sure. So what I'm hoping, oh yeah, good for that. So because of the stepping, we know it's going to work exactly the same way. I'll bring that slightly further forward. So all I need to do is position that So Grateful in between those two, and when I pop that down, so I'm going to do the mint macaron first. So because the positioning is going to be exactly the same, I then just need to step down again, making sure that that card stays in that top corner. Oh, then to be careful about what colour did I just use? That's not mint macaron, that's old olive. There, what have I done with mint macaron? There it is. This one, because they're not going to be, I was thinking they would be next to each other, but they won't, because we've got 2 sets of step stamping. So again, because of that exact line up, and I'm moving in exactly the same step, hey presto. So always remember there is loads of ideas in the catalogue that you can use as inspiration, and as Linda says, you can either like completely change it, or you can choose, as I have in this. I've changed the colours slightly. What colour do we need? We need a bit of early espresso. But you could do this in a singular colour, you could do it in 2 colours. You could do it in as many colours as you want. But that is why we have our little steps. Very easily be able to create. There you go. And now I'm looking at that so often it looks like it's spelt completely wrong, but I've looked at the word grateful so many times now that it looks like it's spelt incorrectly. So, and then that just comes off your plate, and your plate can go away, and your stamp can go away. Yeah, and then all that we'll need is probably a little bit of trimming just to fit onto that card. And then I can't think what they did do in the catalogue. They did a little greeting across the top, but I won't keep you any longer. Doesn't look like it's come to an end, but because they're new, I'm not 100% sure. So I've chosen a bumblebee card base. I'm going to pop that paper down, and then all I'm going to do is trim just a little bit closer to those words. So just taking not even half a centimetre off each edge, just a few millimetres, just to get as close as we can, and then just visually makes it a little bit better. Out of the way, and then hey presto, that's going to pop onto there. And then I will definitely, I think, add some ribbon and a bit of detailing to that, but that just very quickly showed you the step stamping and cased something that was in the catalogue. So yeah, you can use any of the papers there. Just tidy my inks away because I don't want to put my creations smack bang into an ink pad, do I now? Just having beautifully done that, and I will go and grab my cup of tea and let him know what he's having for his dinner. So yeah, so they're the ones that I'd kind of done the pre-prep to. So that one just had the bit of DSP overhanging, so cut a 3.5 centimetre section off, and then you get to see the back of the paper in the centre of the card, so that just needs a bit of white there to detail. Then that one obviously needs a white inner. That had a little bit of fussy cutting, managed to get a bit of the rainbow paper in there. Got some that beautiful suede ribbon, the doily, bits of bling on that one. That's got several layers, and then the So Grateful one, and then the one that I'd cased from the catalogue earlier in the old olive and mint macaron. So thank you very much for sharing your time with me. I really appreciate it, and I feel now we all get lost, and it's perfectly fine to get lost down little rabbit holes, and we're all one and the same. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch me, and anyone that is catching it on the recording, then please do say hi as well, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye.